So I used to be 5'6". Now I'm 5'4", which actually is the national definition of being petite. Oh my God, I'm so little. Well, hey everybody. Hi, it's Diane Gilman, formerly known as the Queen of Jeans for TBC and HSN, but now the proud host of Too Young to Be Old and my second podcast, Fashion Thursdays with Diane. So we are part of a series that is all about life before and after the big M, menopause. And today it's about how radically actually fashion changes for your choices and what you can wear pre-menopause and post. So I have to ask myself a question, and I made myself a chart then and now. And I had to ask myself a really pointed question. What's in your closet? What used to be in your closet? So let's start with that. My number one favorite item was the Hervé Leger bandage dress. I am sure that all of you have seen at least versions of it. It is like an ace bandage with, get ready for this, 17% spandex. What does that mean? It's wrapped around you like a mummy. It is so skin tight when you get it home. And believe me, it wasn't thick fabric. It was the best cocktail dress look. And if you were not in a skin tight, 150% form fitting Hervé Leger bandage dress, you were nobody. You were nowhere. It had a back zipper. Oh, and you needed at least two people besides yourself to get into it. So you'd like shimmy into it. And then one person sort of had to hold the hem of the dress down. The other person is struggling with the back zipper. And to make that even more dramatic and more uncomfortable, how about Spanx? That was the other, like fashion accessory item, fashion foundations that were overflowing in my closet because I always had a tummy that stuck out and I just needed the support through that area. And I just thought, whoo, this is a lot of work. But the point was, before menopause, my look was bodycon. It was very body conscious. And when it got to a cocktail dress or a evening dress where you could accessorize it up, I have to say, I did honestly go for sexy, hot girl, even in my 40s. Menopause changed all that. I didn't want the discomfort anymore. So this is kind of hilarious, but what do I wear underneath now? Well, I used to wear Spanx. As a matter of fact, I think I've still got a couple of pair of Spanx pantyhose unopened somewhere in case of emergency. Now, everything goes from correcting the body shape to healing. Now, honestly, it's two things. Tommy Copper, because I've got inflammation in my joints, my knee and my shoulders. So it's Tommy Copper, and the copper is supposed to give you better blood circulation, make you feel better, and have medicinal purposes to it, and very soft bamboo spandex underwear. So I've gone from everything being about being very out in the open. If you got it, flaunt it. If you don't have it, fake it, to the body wear. And now it's all about healing. It's all about softness. It's all about comfort. And it's all about medicinal, or what you perceive of as medicinal, correction. And I find it hilarious. I used to have this whole collection of lingerie that was really beautiful, and I super enjoyed wearing it every day if I wasn't wearing my Spanx, or I was wearing that under my Spanx. And now it's all about knee braces that are, elastic, a knee glove that has copper in it, uh, something that maybe has been soaked in hemp and is going to take away some of the inflammation and pain. Yeah, I'm becoming an old lady. Hey, what about it? But the truth is, that was a high bar to have to reach every time you went out to a dinner, to a cocktail party. It was like, you got it, you flaunt it. Hey, here I am. And I was always stressing, not about how I looked, full frontal view or full back view. It was about the side and my stomach pooching out. And, I always thought to myself, there has got to be a better way to live than be living wearing Spanx every day, because honestly, just getting into Spanx was such a trial and error thing. Trying to pull it up and getting it up high enough, and God forbid you had to go pee during the evening. Oh, in an negligee bandage dress with Spanx underneath. Wow, it's like being in bodycon prison. So, for Beauty Over 50, women ask me all the time about my hair, my makeup, and my skin quality. I have to tell you the truth, and I never thought I would say this a year ago, ever. I was totally resistant. I now get my beauty products, my skincare products, and my hair products all off of Amazon. I used to think of Amazon as like, oh yeah, okay, I'll buy my cat food off of Amazon, but I'm not going to buy my skincare products. But they've got everything I want, and they've got everything I'm craving to use. So, Charlotte Tilbury makeup, which is top of the line, Amazon. La Mer skincare, Amazon. Wow hair products, hairspray that honestly defies gravity, Amazon. So I created my own Amazon storefront. I'm showing you everything I'm buying, including I'm just going to start showing my new self tanner, which I got off of Amazon, and the link is in the caption below. This is revolutionary, because you know what? Maybe you're like me, you lead a super busy lifestyle, and suddenly you come up to use makeup one day and it's like, yikes, oh my gosh, the bottle's empty. Yeah, no problem. When you go to Amazon and you literally can get delivery the next day on most of it, it's a great way to shop. It's so easy to see these products, and I'm behind every single one of them. They are fabulous, and they are all on my Amazon storefront. And I never thought I would have an Amazon storefront for beauty and hair, but I do. And I think you're going to find items that you become as addicted to as I am, like wow hairspray. I can't live without it now. I think I would go bonkers. If you are a beauty and glam girl like me, or if you're just somebody who loves taking really good care of your skin and your hair, Amazon has it all. Visit my storefront. I'm so proud of it, ladies. And then let me know. Let me know what you loved, how it worked for you. I can't wait for the good reviews to roll in. The link, again, is in the caption below. But those days, I believe, have passed. And it's not so totally relentless anymore because of the development of better lycra and spandex and using lighter weight fabrics. The Hervé Leger bandage dresses were very heavy, and I think that they were 17% spandex, and the rest of it was a poly that had stretch to it. But when you got that dress home, I swear to God, it was that wide, and you're thinking, never in a million years. But you would somehow shimmy into it and go through it all. Cannot do anymore. Cannot do that anymore. And actually don't want to. So, what else were some of my favorite items of fashion that cohabited in my closet before menopause? High heels. Oh, I miss them so much. My very favorite were high heeled knee high boots. And I don't think there's any better look. Now, can you blame me? For every inch of heel, they say visually you lose about 5 to 7 pounds visually. So if I was wearing a 4-inch heel and you made it super sexy by making it into a knee-high boot over jeans by its own with a shorter dress, you were talking about looking about 20 pounds lighter. And worse yet, after menopause, now, guess what, girls? More good news. You shrink. So I used to be 5'6". Now I'm 5'4", which actually is the national definition of being petite. Oh my God, I'm so little. Generations that came after me obviously had better nutrition and just grew taller. But I mean, I'm a shrimp, a complete shrimp. And therefore, I get no advantages because I can no longer wear high heels, arthritis in a knee. Give me a break. I'm almost 80. And I'm really stuck in flat shoes. Now, my favorite flat shoe post menopause is a Gucci loafer or a Gucci type loafer. And you can get them from a lot of different brands, including Todd's and Cole Haan. And usually they've got a pretty sturdy, just half-inch heel on them. But they give you enough coverage over the top of the foot that you're not always struggling in them. And they look good. And in most situations, if you're wearing tailored clothing, including blazer, jeans, my outfit of choice constantly, they're going to look terrific, a little more dressed up, a lot more polished. But my other deal is I love sock sneakers. They look very futuristic. They have a platform on them of at least an inch, so I get a little leverage with height. But between the two of those, no more high heels. And I was such a Jimmy Choo Christian Louboutin girl. Oh my God, when Christian Louboutin came out with those huge platforms, like 3-inch platforms, and then the 7-inch spike heel, I was all in. I was like a collector. And for a long time, it didn't bother me. But I think in the long run, always wearing a high heeled boot or a high heeled pump day and night, never wanted to get into flat shoes because they weren't going to give me an advantage. Um, I think that whatever was destined for my knee with arthritis, it definitely made it worse. I was not doing myself any favors. So I loved me a good 4-inch, 5-inch, super pointy toe high heel. I felt Jimmy Choo was a little more gentle. Christian Louboutin was definitely more challenging, but outrageous. And for the events that I went to, which were all connected to the fashion industry, you were you were not somebody unless you were wearing Christian Louboutins or Jimmy Choo's. But actually, Jimmy Choo was more the daytime pump. Christian Louboutin was more the special events pump, but they were terrifyingly high. And God forbid if you got that spike heel caught in your evening gown, you were going down for a fall. But I guess what I really miss about that is just the heel height and the sexiness of it, the femininity of it, the statement of it, which was a statement, I'm young enough to wear these, and the fact that that height just gave you such an advantage in looking leaner and thinner. And now we get to one of my all-time favorite items, a skinny jean. Well, I invented the middle-aged jean, and I invented it because after menopause, my weight ballooned up almost 60 pounds, actually more, 70, over 70 pounds. I was around 200 pounds. I'm actually now around 130. And it all went around my waist. So one thing you have to know is that you've got to, between premenopause, peri, and postmenopause, prioritize how your body has changed and equate that to what you need to do to angle your wardrobe to be right for you. And there are so many physical problems with menopause that you can't. You can repurpose blazers, you can repurpose t-shirts, you can repurpose exercise leggings, but you can't totally repurpose some items like a jean with maybe just 2% spandex in it. And so I've been away from my brand for a couple of years now. And in terms of looking around the market, there's nothing. I also feel that postmenopause, we get much more attuned to fabrics against our body. And thick, rigid, and unstretchy is not a good feel. So I've kind of switched, sadly, because I would like to be wearing denim, but I would like to find a denim in the market that respected where I'm at in life. I wear a lot of high-end exercise leggings. And you know what? The one part of my body that truly survived intact after menopause were my legs. Now, my legs have always been very skinny, and my hips have always been very narrow. So, of course, that works for me when I wear a narrow bottom and an oversized top because all of the weight or the fat that was on my thighs and my hips went right up to my midriff. So literally, just full disclosure, my waist is about 1.5 inches smaller than my hips. My waist is, ugh, I hate to say this, 35 inches. And when I lose weight, guess where I lose it? I never lose it in the midriff area. I always lose it in the thigh area. So I find it very, very difficult. I would love to find a really cool girl jean that had a lot of softener in it, that had a great hand rub to it to make it softer. But I would love to find one that had a lot of stretch in the waistband. To date, I have not. Anybody got any ideas? Send them to me. The minute I find something like that, I'll become a collector, honestly. Knit denim, which is a knit cotton twill. Hue makes this, Hue. they're real leggings experts. They make it and they actually dip it in authentic indigo dye. That's great, but they're frequently sold out on that. But that was the one way I could express myself post menopause in denim, because my very favorite look is a tailored blazer, a simple turtleneck or t-shirt, and a great skinny jean and loafers, athletic shoes. Um, but I like that twill because it's softened. It's like an exercise legging. It's got a ton of stretch to it, but it looks authentic. I was never a skirt girl, but when I was younger and it was natural to kind of dress sexy even in the daytime. Remember, I was in completely flamboyant, you've got to stay young forever, two industries: television, entertainment, and fashion. So, yeah, I was the queen of the mini skirt pre-menopause and even into perimenopause with tights. Now, of course not. Even though my legs are still good, honestly, but not appropriate. So if I have to go to an event where they are truly saying, you should be like wearing a dress or something. I'm not a dress person, but I will go for like a midi skirt to the top of the ankle, maybe cut on the bias, a very simple shape, and then wear an oversized sweater like the turtleneck I've got on with it, and a pair. I can get away with a pair of flat ankle boots too, but that truly is not really my look. Everything pre and post menopause was about trying to discover how to realign myself to still show the best parts of me. But I'll tell you what, when I got into fashion and when I went into menopause, which was about 25 years ago, um, the fashion industry was booming. It was the place to be. I mean, you couldn't get into FIT as a student. You were just so directed into what was a party industry completely. And I'm not going to tell you I didn't have a lot of fun, but it was all look at me, look at me, look at me kind of clothing. Now, post menopause, it's more like, oh, hi, I'm okay kind of being in the background a little bit. Maybe I don't want so much tight scrutiny. I used to also have a whole series of leather moto jackets in my closet. I loved the embellishment factor of all the zippers. And now I find post-menopause, I don't want that kind of super harsh, hey, I'm a tough girl kind of look. Because actually, I'm kind of not a tough girl. So I've sort of switched myself over to all sorts of beautiful blazers, all different lengths, or Chanel-esque kind of jackets in tweeds, or the famous Balmain double-breasted giant gold buttons jackets. But you're always going to find me camouflaging the worst part of my body after menopause, my midriff and waist, with a jacket, unless it's a big oversized sweater. Now, other thing that used to be really true was it was a tuck in era, which is why we all needed Spanx pantyhose with tummy control. Then you'd wear a midriff thing from Spanx, which you could have breathed in, but who cared? And it sucked you in. Now, oh no. And when you look at fashion today, especially when they're showing you like models walking around in Soho, New York, and they've got big baggy jeans on, but they've got a bare midriff, or they're tucking in. I can't do any of that stuff. I'm also not going to recommend postmenopause unless you've always had beautiful upper arms, which I haven't. Sleeveless, little tricky, and shorts, which are so big in younger areas of New York. I live on the Upper East Side, stuffy old girl stuff. But down in Soho and Tribeca, in the wintertime, you'll see a massive amount of shorts with a long coat and tights, dark tights underneath them. So before I went into menopause, everything was about being sexy. It was about the wilder, the better, but that was also the times as well. It was just the mood of the industry, how hot the industry was, how much it was growing, and you will always wanted to be way on the forefront. You want to be the first one to have any particular hot fashion item. But that has now morphed into what we've spoken about when we talk about stealth wealth and luxury. And I have to say that that is a timeless space for postmenopause. And at a certain point, all of that young, fast fashion stuff just falls to the wayside. You want to be timeless. You want people to stop thinking or guessing your age and just say, wow, I really understand the way she's dressing and she looks good. And I will tell you a story. So I used to have to commute to Hong Kong. Ugh. 2 weeks in Hong Kong, 2 weeks in New York, back and forth. But you had to stop in Tokyo, and so I'm sitting in the first class lounge, American Airlines, and it's crowded because we've got this 2, 3, 4 hour layover. There's a woman sitting in front of me with a group of people. Everyone was traveling there for business. And by the way, it was a blast. And she had to be 40, 45, in excellent shape, beautiful tan, but wearing a micro mini dress. I thought to myself, God forbid if I ever do that, where I go way past my due date wearing clothing for a woman 20 years younger. And I would say if there was a real demarcation line in between what you wear before menopause and what you wear after, and I will say that what you wear after is not only gauged by appropriate, it's also gauged by what happens to your body. Very often, when you see the life of a movie star or a television star, you see that they started out super thin and wound up still on air, still in front of a camera, but pretty chunky. And that is the migration from premenopause to postmenopause. So I came up with a whole look based on oversized turtlenecks in the winter, oversized linen shirts in the summer, a skinny bottom, a flat shoe, depending on, I have a lot of fashion sneakers, by the way, that I love too. But it became more timeless. It's not so much, look at me, look at me, look at me. I can still wear it. I still have good legs. It is a very, very different message. And you know what? It used to be pain for effect. Now it's comfort. I have to say that. It's classic good taste. It's don't try and guess my age. Let's just forget about that. And honestly, comfort comes first. If it is uncomfortable, even if it looks good on me, I just can't sacrifice it. I have to be functional at all times. So, ask yourself, what is the one part of your body, if you're going through menopause, that you've seen the greatest change in? Usually, biologically, it's the march of fat off your legs from your knees up. and implanting itself as a big spare tire around your middle. It's just biological. And so having that to the extreme for me, especially when I weighed almost 200 pounds, I've worked very hard to create a wardrobe that is oversized to a point on the top or very tailored on the top where I can really control the silhouette, or the tailoring does that for you. Very stretchy and very lean underneath. For me, everything, every priority for buying something new or getting dressed up or every day is about camouflaging my middle. And that was definitely not true before menopause. Even though I didn't have a six pack, even though I didn't have the flattest stomach in history before menopause, I remember plenty of nights going to Studio 54 between 1978 and 1982, wearing a crop top, showing my midriff. And of course, that would never happen today. So part of it, honestly, is hiding. And I don't even want to think about trying to reshape myself and put on Spanx anymore. I really found that a very effective set of undergarments, but really torturous. I'm too old to torture myself anymore. So I go for oversized and soft shape. I go for a whole soft luxe statement. And there's plenty of ways to do it. I get a lot of oversized sweaters off of J. Crew, Zara, believe it or not, Amazon fashion, that are great and really do the job. It's funny, but when I think about it, and I think what would really represent me premenopause, it would be the bandage dress, the skin tight, challenging bandage dress. And what is it now? Oh my God, ladies, it's a cashmere knit hoodie and track pant. Comfortable, soft, gliding over the body. And, the times have changed too, because if you are going through menopause and you are working remotely, you're far less challenged than somebody like me, where I had to go to 7th Avenue every day. And everybody is so competitive and judgmental. And yeah, so I hope this is helpful. There is definitely a whole choice of looks that you can go for, outfits that you can build post-menopause. But you are going to have to not be in denial and honestly, really seriously assess yourself. And I would say the other biggest fashion statement I would have to make, pre or post, before or after, is get used to the fact, and you will see it much more clearly in the after part, that a lot of the trends that are out there are verboten to us girls who are postmenopausal. They're bare mission. A bit. You can only wear a big, baggy jean if honestly you don't have on a crop top. You're just going to look like a giant marshmallow. So there are so many trends out there that are simply for younger women who still have an estrogen fueled body, and kind of everything is in the right place. I took a lot of what I had and repositioned it. I understood there was a lot that I was not going to be wearing anymore, and then it became an adventure. But don't ignore it. Really assess where your weight is going and don't gain 80 pounds like I did after menopause. So if you can keep your weight, and one of the things we're going to talk about in a week or so on this podcast is how your diet scientifically, even for your taste buds, needs to change from before to after. But it's all good stuff. It's all learning more about you. It's all putting out there to the world you with your best advantages. And let's face it, who knows you better than you? Nobody. So be honest with yourself. See how your shape is changing. How are you going to visually correct that and work with it? And then I have to say, before was great, everything kind of taken for granted. But after can be great too. And it can be a great self awareness adventure. So good luck. Start closet shopping to begin with. And thank you so much for joining me. The Before and After series, the Big M.
Thank you so much for listening to Too Young to Be Old podcast. The episode may be over, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at The Diane Gilman, or visit our website, thedianegilman.com. If you like the show, leave us a rating or a review and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And until then, don't forget, age is just a number. Together, we'll prove that we are all too young to be old.